Welcome to episode 17 of Rebirth Revolution. My name is Melissa Olson. By now, you have no doubt read lists of all the things you should change in 2020. Here's what's different about the Rebirth Revolution resolutions. None of them have to do with your abs. We are here to turn darkness into light. We are here to be full participants in the renewal of this school and all of its participants. If this could be accomplished with highly sculpted abs, then that would have made the list. Let's discuss the changes that you might consider that would move this whole thing forward. 1. 2020 will be the year that you figure yourself out. 2. This will be the year when you are firmly on your own team, promoting what moves you forward. There will always be those who are against you, but you're not going to be on their team. You're going to be the captain of your own team. You will be your own strongest source of strength and backup. 3. 2020 is the year to express optimism for the future through the process of creating. 4. This is the year to take stock in everything you're grateful for. We need to make sure we focus on that and give the proper thanks so it's apparent that that is what we wish to receive more of. 5. This is the year when it is crucial that you are clear-headed. 6. This is the year when you need to commit to pursuing everything that interests you. It is the year that you will grow exponentially. 7. 2020 is the year when you will demand full accountability of yourself and others. 8. This is the year when you will let go of everything and everyone who hold you back and drag you down. 9. This is the year when you will stay in your own lane and allow others to do the same. 10. This is the year we grant everyone the freedom to figure out their own path and their own solutions. 11. This is the year we drop the notion that we are supposed to be happy all the time. We will get more comfortable with the feelings of being challenged and growing, as they are the keys to moving forward. 12. We will stop judging other people's complicated lives as failures and start seeing them as advanced courses. We will recognize that hiding and pretending that everything is perfect is a smokescreen and a complete waste of time in this school. 13. This is the year we will think outside of the cultural narrative and get down to absolute truth. 14. This is the year when we actively work towards the goal of feeling nothing but love and compassion for ourselves and others. So let's break these down. Figuring yourself out may seem scary and challenging, but when done with love and compassion, it's an act of freeing yourself from defending yourself to the world around you. It's a way to see, without malice, the parts of you that align with your vision of who you want to be, and the parts that do not. It is important that you understand core issues about yourself. Like, are you an introvert or an extrovert? What are the events and who are the people who make you feel more like yourself? And who are the people who make you feel less than? This is not because those people or events are inherently bad. It's that they tell you valuable information about yourself and how you move in the world. The things that hurt are the areas that you can work to understand and heal, allowing you to put them away once and for all and move on to something else. There's nothing more boring than dealing with the same issue endlessly. Time for resolution so you can move on to the next, more interesting issue. There will always be issues. They are the courses you're here to take. Just don't wallow in one issue too long keeping you stuck at the same grade level. When looking at the things you've done, the choices you've made, be sure to take the time to figure out what your motives were. Allow for the part of you that is human, born with all the weaknesses that are part of our design. It's part of our design to have these weaknesses and struggle to make peace with them and gain the ability to make choices of our own, taking control back. I was looking for another word for challenge to use here, but they all have a negative connotation. That is definitely something we need to rethink. A challenge is not a bad thing. A challenge is brilliant because without it, we cannot express that part of ourself that has grown and wants to get better. A challenge is a gift, and these gifts are built into the earth experience so we can demonstrate our growth and ability to be who we came here to be. And once we can look lovingly at who we really are, we're able to retrain our focus on others to be similarly loving and compassionate. 2, being on your own team becomes more and more important as we're now in a world where the entire planet can weigh in on what they think of you. It's important too because the worst position to be in is one where you need the judgment of others to bolster you. You need to be capable of moving through this world, doing the right thing, no matter what anyone else thinks. We are living in a time when many people are being tested to see if they live up to their beliefs. A lot of them are failing. This is the year that your beliefs will become crystal clear to you so you can determine if you are on or off track with each choice that you make. It's vital that you have your own back at all times. Those who would like you to abandon your beliefs will do everything they can to shut you up. It's to be expected. But this is the year that you will forge ahead anyway. This is the year you will feel pride in yourself for doing what you have determined to be right, not being swayed by peer pressure. There only needs to be one person on your team. You are the team captain and the MVP. Your strength and courage will display for others that they can be captains of their own team. 3, this year we will create. What will we create? It doesn't matter. The process of creation is what matters. To create is to become vulnerable and hopeful. These are good states of being when fostering growth. You could bake a cake, you could write a story, you could plant a garden, you could dabble in watercolors or learn an instrument. You could remake a room in your house or a space outside. Creating is the act of taking your thoughts and dreams and making them realities. You will learn so much about yourself in doing so. When consuming what others create, you are living in their world. When you create, you are changing the world you live in. You are also changing the future because whether it's a seed you planted that will bloom later or a story you write that will be a record for future generations, it's your way of changing the future. The future needs more of you in it. 4, giving thanks is placing an order for the future. It's the clearest indication of what you value and what is worthy of your focus. It is important in this world that others know what they have done that you value, so don't keep this information to yourself. To tell another person what you appreciate about them or their actions has an amazing impact in their life. It can be just the confirmation they need to move forward. A daily practice of at least thinking of what you're grateful for is wonderful. Writing it down is even better. 5, being clear-headed is necessary to correctly process what is happening around you. I suspect many people don't even know what a clear head feels like. We are lulled into consuming that which will dull our minds just to get through this school. How would you know if you're working in your right mind? I think doing a round of Whole 30 is a fantastic way to find out. You will spend the first few days in battle with your brain, which is dependent on the substances that dull you. The amount of anguish you experience is an indicator that when it comes to your brain, you are not really driving the bus. The part of you that fights back and stays on Whole30 is exactly who you want as your bus driver. Later in the 30-day experiment, you will have insights and mood stability that you may not have ever experienced. It's astounding. At the end of the 30 days, if done correctly, you will find out which substances work to empower you and which strip you of needed clarity. 6. Following what interests you will lead you down the path to the people and information that you need to grow to the next level. This path is different for each person. We are given hundreds of choices each day, whether through Netflix or other streaming services, bookstores, libraries, and our televisions, of content that we can take in that tells us something we don't know. We don't know other people's stories, which puts us at a disadvantage when we want to share our love and compassion with them. It's so difficult to look at a complete stranger and feel love and compassion, but that's only because we don't know their story. We don't know what they've been through. We don't know what they've endured and overcome. We don't know the parts of their lives that intersect with ours. Knowing other people's stories will break you wide open, and that's a good thing. As you scroll through everything offered, go to whatever grabs your interest. You don't even need to know why it does. Just see where it takes you. I promise, as you trust your gut on these types of choices, you will see a theme emerge, and you will be changed by it, in a good way. 7. Accountability. Yikes, it sounds painful, but it all boils down to facing the cold, hard truth about yourself and others. We can't fix what we won't face. Let's cool it this year with the excuses and justifications. Let's be real and see where it takes us. The system relies on us being the checks and balances for others, and we need to apply that same discipline to ourselves. 8. The things and people that drag you down and hold you back are doing so by your choice. Everyone gets to be as messed up as they want to be. Your involvement with them is an option only you can decide to accept. You cannot drag someone up or save them from their lessons, which leads us to our next 2 resolutions. 9. Staying in our own lane is difficult and takes a lot of self-control. It may seem too self-centered to focus only on your own movement forward, but much of what you do outside of that is actually inhibiting the growth of others. Often the desire to jump into others' lanes is just a stalling tactic. It's meant to avoid what is in your lane, which is exactly what you need to deal with to move forward. 10. This is the year we grant everyone the freedom to figure out their own path and their own solutions. When you get involved with the problems of others, and when you solve them, you strip both of you of forward movement. The solution you applied to a 3rd grader's problem, which you did because you're further along in school than they are, stripped them of the joy of achieving that success for themselves. They did not earn any forward movement, and you lost some of your own for having stripped them of their moment. That lesson will have to be delivered to them again in another form because the test that came with it was for them, not you. In the revolution, we want freedom, autonomy, and forward movement for everyone else as much as we want it for ourselves. We will respect and love people enough to know that they can figure it out for themselves. 11. We tend to think that something isn't working if it doesn't make us feel good. There are entire industries built up around the false notion that we are supposed to feel great all the time. We didn't come to this school to rest on our laurels. We didn't come to this school to have people fan us and feed us peeled grapes. We came here to do the work, the hard work. To miss this basic truth is to set yourself up for misery. If you think you're here to be sheltered from everything that is difficult and everything that breaks us into a million pieces, you will be wholly unprepared for those events when they inevitably happen. Instead of kicking into high gear when the going gets tough, you will be on the sidelines whining about how this wasn't supposed to happen to you. Here's the thing. Everything is supposed to happen to you. Accepting this will make your time here much less shocking. 12. Our propensity for viewing other people's complicated lives as failures is rooted in the previous resolution. It is rooted in the false notion that if we do everything right, nothing bad will ever happen to us. Wrong. Additionally, we think that if we pretend everything is fine, others will think we are doing everything right. Let's give that all up. No one is doing everything right. No one is doing everything wrong. We're all subject to the laws of the system, and we all must work through whatever our karma may be. We must fill in our demonstrated gaps in awareness to move forward. We are all working on very specific issues. No one is issue-free, and no one's issues are more or less important than the next person's. They're just on different grade levels. 13. It's an act of bravery to step outside the accepted cultural narrative. This year, we're going to be that brave. This year, we will rethink everything and be willing to go wherever that takes us. 14. In conclusion, this is the year when we actively work towards the goal of feeling nothing but love and compassion for ourselves and others. If you add up the previous 13 suggestions, you will be a deeper, richer, more compassionate person. You will see yourself and others in a new light, one that accounts for human frailty and respects the different paths that you currently inhabit. You will be stronger, focused like a laser beam, and more open-hearted. I hope you will love yourself more and will allow the beauty you have been holding in find its way out into the world. We need you for this revolution. We need your art, your opinions, and every bit of wattage you can generate. We want the world to be more like you every day. We want you to shine so brightly that others are instinctively drawn to the light you emanate, giving them permission to shine in the same fashion. Here's to making 2020 a year that changes everything and everyone for the better. I'm so thankful for each and every person who has been listening to Rebirth Revolution. It's thrilling to know that there are others out there who are focused on turning this all around. Please pass this along to anyone you know who may be interested in the same mission. We can be found everywhere podcasts exist and on YouTube. Check out our Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook accounts. We'd love to hear from you at rebirthrev@gmail.com, or you can always leave a comment on rebirthrevolution.com. Until next week, be open, be aware, watch for clues, and consider making a vision board so your wishes are fully known. Remember, you are loved exactly as much as every other person on the planet, not 1 ounce more or 1 ounce less. Have a brilliant beginning to a great new year.